Welcome to everybody globally, wherever you are in the world. I'm absolutely thrilled to be with you. What we're going to do today is that we're going to find and share our Fizz. The really important thing here is that I've seen Fizz so far this morning globally, not just in the chat and the presentations and everything, but why am I talking about finding and sharing Fizz? So I'm Nina Jackson. I'm a mental health and wellbeing global advisor, a teacher and pedagogical champion. And more than anything, I like to discover the Fizz that's inside lessons, inside individuals, from teachers to children to parents, and to capture that and find out what really makes learning explosive, amazing, absolutely fantastic. And some of you may not fully know what a sherbet lemon actually is, but it's a sweet that we have in the UK, which has a really hard structure, but inside it has this sherbet fizz. And whether you're a cruncher or a sucker, by the time you get to that sherbet, it's like, ooh, and it's absolutely fantastic. And it'll either make you go a little bit like that or make your eyes really wide. And that's what I want to do when we look at teaching, learning and sherbet lemons. And I want to celebrate everybody who has grasped the unprecedented issues that we've had with COVID-19 and how you've been able to manage and find the Fizz, to celebrate it and to put it on a global platform. Whether you use Frog or not, the most crucial thing is that we find out how we can engage our students, develop our teachers to be even better than what they already are, and to be okay sometimes when things don't go quite right. So I am the author of Teaching, Learning and Sherbet Lemons, which is a compendium of really careful advice about a number of things. And there's some ed tech tools in there as well, which I was supported with a lovely Mark Anderson, ICT evangelist. So let's have a think about it. Now, as you can tell, I'm a woman who's worked at this beautiful figurine for years, and I love chocolate. So if life is like a box of chocolates, and work out which film that actually came from, then teaching and learning is like a sherbet lemon. Why is that? We need to have the structures. So even during lockdown, so many of you have still had these school type structures through home learning, online learning, e-learning. And those structures have allowed you to find out actually how different students will engage and share their new Fizz way of learning. So we've always got to keep those structures and systems, but now we're looking at new structures and systems. And that's absolutely crucial as we move forward into the future. We are crafting right now great humans for the future that can be adaptable and flexible. But the problem being sometimes is that they are going to lose their Fizz. So if I ask you this question, why isn't there Fizz sometimes? You know, what are the major challenges for you? So many of you will have embraced these challenges and actually gone head in and been really brave in thinking, okay, if we do this system and we use Google Classroom, or we use Frog, or we use applications or emails, or connecting with students in a really innovative way to check in to see if they're okay, then you are embracing that new challenge, but you're also trying to find the new Fizz. So whatever it is that you're working in globally with regards to teaching, learning, pedagogy and practice, just make sure you will always have challenges, but sometimes be okay that there isn't full Fizz there. I think we'll all agree right now that what we're trying to do is to create happy, healthy children and young people. That's what we do as educators. But I want to come back and really celebrate, and particularly from some of the people who have presented this morning, what you've done, and thank you for this, is that you've made your staff and your teachers a priority as well. You've thanked them, you've embraced them, but what we need to do as well is that we need to find out what makes us happy and healthy by us fitting our own mask first. And I'm not going to actually do the airline thing, but you get what I mean. Sometimes when there are difficulties and we've lost that fizz, particularly with mental health and well-being, what we need to do is to just reach out, and we need to do what I call the check-in, check-out system. Now, what do we actually mean by that? Earlier on, you know, Nick was talking about celebrating birthdays. Bookie was talking about checking in with young people, you know, either via WhatsApp or online systems. And many of you will have your own methodologies. When you check in with somebody and you say, "You okay? How are things going?" Then what you do is that if there's a response where things is absolutely fine, you just say, "Okay, well, I'll check up with you later." And this is not just from an emotional point of view, but this is from an academic learning point of view as well. When things seem to be settled and that you're happy, what you can do is actually you can check out. So think about when you're looking at finding emotional fizz for somebody, that you do the check in, check up, and then check out system. And that's about that, showing that extra little bit of well-being care. Because if we don't feed the heart to feed the brain, so that we can create happy, healthy, really safe environments, really secure learning environments, but to value everybody in that community of learning, then it's not going to work. So I'm going to share with you something called well-being is a work of heart. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Well, well-being is a work of heart is my idea to share your A to Z things of what make you fizzy. And I'll just move that slightly on the screen. But well-being is a work of heart is definitely something that we have to embed in teaching and learning and interweave it into academic progress. The reason I'm saying well-being is a work of heart, during this session this morning, Mark Anderson wants you to tweet from your seat. And if you're going to share a fizzy moment or a frog fizzy experience, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer you the opportunity to win this Teach and Learning Sherbet Lemon book, and also as well some extra little things that I can send to you, even if you're in Malaysia. So when we're creating these happy, healthy environments, not only looking at e-safety, but also looking at the emotional well-being, are you checking, A, that the learning environment that that child student is in is safe for them, and whether or not they actually feel secure in accessing that learning. Accessibility is key. And because obviously special education needs and disabilities is one of my areas that I'm very passionate about and I work in as well, the accessible tools are crucial, whether it is from speech to text. There are applications, there are online tools. Oh, well, I do love a little bit of double FN on Word on my Mac, especially when I'm writing, so I don't end up having really, really cramped shoulders, and I can speak and write and just be myself. So think about that, feeding the heart to feed the brain. Okay, we know that, you know, in neuroscience, in cognitive development and cognitive overload, there are a variety of different chemicals that get released and get dampened, etc., etc. So make that a real priority. So if you're thinking about your inner magic and what your fizz is as a practitioner or as a teacher, isn't it sometimes a little bit hard to find it? Okay, it's really, really difficult, isn't it? And I would like to advocate a global platform for children and young people, similar to some of the social media sites or whatever the case may be, as long as it's safe and secure, to be able to share their learning globally so that everybody can tap into that. It doesn't necessarily have to be about what's happening in school. Many of our children and young people will find their fizz by doing own work rather than home or school work. so that you actually allow them to expand and find these engaging tools that really want to get them questioning about, why is this? How do I do this? Oh, is that a problem? All these different things so that young people can actually have that global platform. But occasionally what happens is that we know that some of our students will lose that loving feeling for learning. Many of you, I'm sure, will have had students who've experienced anxiety, maybe even you as a practitioner too. And just be known that, anxiety is actually good for us, but the bad anxiety that builds up over layers like the millefeuille pastry can be really, really challenging. So here are some really simple self-care strategies for your students and for your staff. For me, every morning after I've read a brilliant, brilliant book called The Miracle Morning, I wake up and I ask myself, Nina, what's your purpose today? Because if I don't have a purpose, then I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I'm not really sure how I'm going to impact on others, on the world, or even on myself. So starting each day with what's my purpose, reminding ourselves that there'll be real highs and there'll be terrible, sad lows as well. But riding those waves is actually what brings brilliant well-being to a balanced place. And at the end of every learning experience, end of every lesson, end of every experience where you're networking or collaborating with parents, staff and students, the gratitude, the three things, okay, that you recognize about yourself that can celebrate you. I mean, three really simple things. Celebrate your talents, you as practitioners, as teachers too. But more than anything, enjoy the time right now. Celebrate them, find what your fizzy moments are, and interject that with some really good sleep patterns. What I saw this morning is that routines and systems are crucial when we're in uncertain times and we don't know how the world is going to develop. Be okay with sharing worries. Be okay with the fact that you want to celebrate you. But more than anything, I want to ask you today, what's your fizz? What makes learning effervescent in your school? What makes learning effervescent for you as a practitioner? And how do you know that your children are just not feeling the fizz, but are absolutely finding it too? I wanted you to think about you being kind to yourself. Teachers, practitioners, educators, you have globally committed yourself in developing an amazing future which is flexible, adaptable, and embracing change. You've been brave and you will continue to be brave. Sometimes, maybe somebody will forget to just check up on you. So please, will you just be kind to yourself too? And when you're kind to yourself, whether it's all devices off or whether it's actually celebrating your fizz and being really brilliant, then that's okay. I'm Nina Jackson and I'm at Music Mind on Twitter. And I'd like to say to you, global teachers and educators and all fizzy froggies wherever you are, thank you for all that you are and for all that you do. I hope you have an amazing day and I would love to connect with you in the future. Thank you very much.